Have you ever had a friend that claims that he found the one only to mess it up and bang somebody else? What would he do to conceal it? Those questions are based on the movie Sideways, starring Paul Giamatti, Sandra Oh, Thomas Hayden Church, and Virginia Madsen. Coming up next on Running the Slate.
Here we go. Final round, please. Pictures up, slate in, and roll sound.
And action.
Action.
Cut.
Cut in.
Hello, all you cinephiles. I'm Patrick Green, host of Running the Slate, where I take action in critiquing movies. On today's episode, which is aptly titled Whining About Love, I'm not talking about whining as in crying and complaining. I'm talking about the drinking type. You know, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, or even I dare say Merlot. It's about two friends who are on the opposite sides of the romantic department, and they can't get a grip on anything. The first one is Miles, who is played by Paul Giamatti. He's on a divorce slump, and whenever he meets somebody new, he berates himself. The other is Jack, who's played by Thomas Hayden Church. He needs a certain round or one last round or two to jump somebody's bones before he says, I do, 1 week before his wedding. Before I get to the main gist of Sideways, I'll give you some brief history about the film. Directed by Alexander Payne, written by Jim Taylor, and produced by Michael London, it was released back in 2004, and it was nominated 3 times for Best Picture, Director, and Supporting Actor and Actress. Thomas Hayden Church and Virginia Madsen had accolades for that. It had also won Best Adapted Screenplay at the 77th Academy Awards and an Oscar. Here's something that you didn't know. George Clooney almost played on this movie. The reason why he didn't get picked? The director, who is once again Alexander Payne, thought he was too big of a star. And a strange twist, Clooney got a part in The Descendants, which is another Payne-directed film. And to keep up with this topic, the director also married Sandra Oh, who went on to play in Grey's Anatomy. But the marriage between the two only lasted 3 years. This movie is based out of a 3-book adaptation, which has the first title, Sideways, the other called Vertical, and the last one, Sideways 3, Chile. All 3 written by the author Rex Pickett. Why do people think getting laid is a cure-all for a romantic slump? That's what Jack was trying to persuade Miles to do throughout this movie. The difference was Miles found the one to break out of his loveless streak, and Jack, it got him into trouble trying to bang 2 women at the same time before exchanging vows. Lucky for him, those 2 women don't know each other. The same story reminds me of Uncut Gems, which had Adam Sandler in it, and that Let It Go singer. Oh, that's right, Idina Menzel. Adam's character tried to spread himself too thin between his wife and his side piece. What's the difference between Sideways and Uncut Gems is Adam Sandler's character winds up dead, and Jack barely gets out of it alive, though Stephanie bashes his nose in after he finds out he's the groom-to-be. Miles is no innocent bystander in this situation as well, because as they say, guilty by association, and it got him in trouble losing Maya, all because that he's associated with the wannabe Casanova Jack. The scene that broke Miles was Jack told him that his ex-wife, who is named Victoria, was coming to the wedding. He was fine with it until the news came that she married again with somebody else. Picture this question. Would you be okay with your ex-spouse, who is married to somebody else, be at the same wedding you're invited to? Tweet your answers at twitter.com/silentwonder or download this episode at Stitcher, Spotify, or even Amazon Music. Coming up next, I'll give you my likes, dislikes, and my favorite scene in this movie right after this. And we're back on Running the Slate. I'm Patrick Green. Today's episode is titled Whining About Love. Let me give you a rundown of what I like and dislike and my favorite scene in the movie Sideways. What I liked in the movie, the split screen shots of Miles driving Jack in the California countryside, passing through grapevines, sipping wines, and seeing people picking grapes. It shows how interesting the journey is, especially when the split shots enter the winery where they meet Stephanie, who is Sandra Oh.
This is our estate Chardonnay.
Now there's a girl that knows how to pour. What's your name?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Nice.
So what do you think?
Quaffable, but far from transcendent.
I like it. He's great. Oaky.
It's Cabernet Franc. This is only the 5th year we've made this varietal. Very few wineries around here do a straight Cab Franc. It's from our vineyards up in Santa Maria, and it was a silver medal winner at Paso Robles last year.
Well, I will tell you something. I've come never to expect greatness from a Cab Franc, and this one is no different. It's kind of a hollow, flabby, overripe.
I don't know. Tastes pretty good to me. So, do you live around here, Stephanie?
Yeah, up around Los Alamos. And I agree with you about Cab Franc.
What I didn't get at first, but now I realized, was Jack crashing Miles's car. Throughout all the mistakes Jack made in the movie, you would think he would redeem himself before he took the plunge. Nope, he had to make one more asshole move.
Hey, put on your seatbelt, okay?
Yeah, I was just about to. What's the problem?
Just want to remind you to be safe.
Hey, what's up? What, Jack? We missed the entrance.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Jack? Hey. Whoa.
Hang on.
What the hell are you doing, Jack?
After watching that scene again for the 5th time, or I lost count, I came to reason with the fact that he was trying to save himself the embarrassment of Stephanie beating him up with her own motorcycle helmet. He thought his bride-to-be would be none the wiser. Even the sly fox smile he gave Miles at the wedding was evident enough. To flip on Miles' side, he beats himself up, all because he can't get out of his 2-year divorce slump, all because his wife moved on and he did not. To make matters worse, he had hopes of his own book being published, but that went by the wayside.
So what's happening? There's still no word, huh?
Well, actually, there is word. I spoke to Keith Gerstmann this morning,
Right? And?
and they're passing. Conundrum's passing. He said they really liked it, they really wanted to do it, but they just couldn't figure out how to market it. He said it was a really tough call.
Oh, right.
I'm sorry, Miles. So look, I don't know where that leaves us. I mean, I'm not sure how much more mileage I can get out of continuing to submit it. I think it's one of those unfortunate cases in the business right now of a fabulous book with no home. The whole industry's gotten gutless. It's not about the quality of the books anymore. It's only about the marketing.
Despite all the travesty, here comes Maya like a fresh set of grapes. She knows wine just as much as him, and she's adventurous as well, which brings me to my favorite scene of the movie. She calms him down, explaining the life of wine.
I like to think about the life of wine. Yeah. How it's a living thing. I like to think about what was going on the year the grapes were growing. How the sun was shining. If it rained. I like to think about all the people who tended and picked the grapes. And if it's an old wine, how many of them must be dead by now? I like how wine continues to evolve. Like, if I opened a bottle of wine today, it would taste different than if I'd opened it on any other day. Because a bottle of wine is actually alive. And it's constantly evolving and gaining complexity. That is until it peaks. Like you're 61. And then it begins its steady, inevitable decline. And it tastes so fucking good.
Yes, that is one excellent scene. Coming up next, I'll give you my final take on Sideways. And we're back on Running the Slate. I'm Patrick Green. And today's episode is called Whining About Love. And I'm about to give you my final take on the movie Sideways. I think the film represents how Jack and Miles run on two different speeds of love. Jack runs on the feeling on whatever woman he wants, he bangs her. He doesn't care what the consequences are unless he's in a situation he can't get out of. That was proven twice in the movie, where he got his nose bashed in, and Stephanie did that, and sleeping with someone else's wife. What's the shitty part? He got Miles to do his dirty work, even though he did wrong. And guess what? The waitress's husband chased them both down. Luckily, they got away to get to the end goal of Miles being best man to Jack's wedding. On Miles' behalf, I think he's misunderstood when it comes to being around Maya, despite his shortcomings. Yes, he berates himself, but in my opinion, it's a defense tactic out of fear of being hurt. Let's face it, he didn't like the fact of his ex-wife moving on without him, but in the end, he came to grips with it when he gave his best congrats to Victoria's pregnancy. And Maya's condensed message on his answering machine was the spark of a chance that he could love again. It gave him enough hope to knock on her door. Will she or won't she open? I believe that is up to our speculation and forever will be. You can download this episode on Stitcher, Spotify, or even catch it on iHeartRadio. Don't forget to leave a like on my Facebook page, or even subscribe to my YouTube page, or leave a tweet at twitter.com/silentwonder. That just about does it for this episode, but before I leave, let me give you a sneak preview of what I might talk about next time.
How much longer does the program need?
8 minutes.
Time to go mobile.
Everybody
Tune in next time as I present The Dark Knight Rises, starring Christian Bale, Anne Hathaway, and Tom Hardy. But until then, this is Patrick Green saying, exit stage left.